All right, good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everybody out today. I got a good message planned for you guys today, and I want to go ahead and title my message that Jesus is bigger than the storm. And I'm going to start in Matthew chapter 8, 23 through 27. And I'm going to go ahead and read that to you. Verse 23, and when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. 24, and behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with waves. But he was asleep. Jesus was asleep in the ship. The disciples were scared for their life because Jesus was asleep. He was down the disciples being scared for their life, the waves crashing all the way over the ship. Jesus down there asleep. They're freaking out. They're like, what do we do? Verse 25, and his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. They're so scared they had to run and wake up Jesus. I guess it means they knew that Jesus was going to take care of that. Alright. Verse 26, and he said, why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? But he arose and rebuked the winds and the seas. And there was a great calm. That's weird. That's crazy. Like you have the Son of God on board and you're still afraid. So you have the Son of God on board and you know that Jesus is right there with you. And then they're still scared. They still want to freak out and don't know what to do. It's crazy. And I'm going to go ahead and go into Matthew 14 and 22. We'll go ahead and read from there. In a second. Page. I'm starting 22. And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into the ship and to go before him unto the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. Verse 23, and when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening came, he was there alone. Verse 24, but the ship now in the midst of the seas, tossing with waves, for the winds was contrary. Verse 25, and in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. Verse 26, and when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. Could you imagine just Jesus coming and walking on the water, just coming to see them? Because he knew they were in trouble. But one thing that they forgot about, I guess, is that God's not going to let nothing happen to his people. That's one thing. He's testing their faith and see how they do in these storms and situations that they go through. I mean, could you just imagine somebody walking on the sea? You on a boat and sitting there, waves crashing, and you just see a man walking on the sea. I'd be pretty scared too, to be honest, if I didn't know it was Jesus. Let me go ahead and read on here. All right. Verse 27. But straightway Jesus spoke unto them, saying, but be of good cheer. It is I. Be not afraid. Verse 28. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. Verse 29. And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. Verse 30. But when he saw the winds boisterous, that means ripping wildly, he was afraid, and began to sink. He cried, saying, Lord, save me. Verse 31. And immediately Jesus snatched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And I want to state something there. This is a really big thing. I see this verse a lot when people are trying to talk about faith and struggling with their faith. It took a lot of faith to go out there and walk on that water. But see, notice how he took his eyes off Jesus and started looking at the storm around him. He began to sink into the sea. But God's right there. He's going to snatch you up. As soon as you call His name, He will snatch you up. You'll be all right. I promise you that. If you are His beloved, He will protect you. That's one thing that I can be for sure of and say. And we're going to go to Mark chapter 4, verse 35 through 41. Go right there to it. Right? 35. And the same day when evening was come, he said unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. Verse 36. And when they had set away the multitudes, they took him even as he was in the ship. And there were also with him other little ships. Verse 35. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. Verse 38. And he was in the hidder part of the ship. Also he was asleep. He was asleep on a pillow, as the Bible says. And they awake him, and say unto him, Master, carest thou not we perish? Verse 39. And he arose and rebuked the winds, and said the seas, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. Verse 40. And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is that ye have no faith? Verse 41. And their fears exceedingly, they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and sea obey him? Wow. He did that not once, not twice, but 3 times. Yet the disciples still doubted him. He's the Son of God, people. Come on now. You gotta. They're still fearful, and he's on the ship. That's what the devil does. He will mess with you. He will give you fears, even in the strongest storms. Even if you know God's right there. But I have to tell you this: know that Jesus is going to protect you during the storms. Know that Jesus is going to be right there beside you, as long as you're one of His beloved. I want to say to you this: God's right there with you. Just be careful when you fear, because you're doubting Him, and that can dampen you. You have to have faith, knowing that He's going to be able to take care of you in your situation that you're in, so that He'll do these for you. Because you have to have faith in Jesus and know that He's going to do these things. And I want you to imagine this. You see a mountain, you see a storm coming towards you, and it's black as you've seen it. It's coming towards you, it's coming, and you know it's coming. And then you see the other side, and you see the opening over there, and you see on the mountain, you see the cross, and you see Jesus. And I want you to keep in mind this. Which one do you look at? I'll tell you which one you look at. You look at Jesus. There was once a song that said this: If your eyes are on the storm, you wonder if I love you still. But if your eyes are on the cross, you know I always have and I always will. Keep that in mind when you're in your storms, because that's important. Don't be looking at the storm you're in. Praise Him through the storm and just watch Him move. Those storms we go through are battles each day. Battles day by day. And I want you to keep in mind that Jesus will take care of you through your storms. And I'm not just talking storms out here, just storms like physical storms, nature storms. I'm talking spiritual storms. I'm talking all that crazy stuff. All that stuff, you know. I'm telling you right now that Jesus will take care of all that. You just have to believe and know that He is going to take care of you. Pray through that storm. Don't be like Paul and sink. Pray through it. Know that God's going to do it. Keep your eyes on Jesus and walk to Him. Just remember this. This is important. He can't just think about this. We have so much technology nowadays that the only thing we can do is predict these storms. Not spiritual storms. I'm talking weather storms too. These weather storms, all we can do is predict them. But I saw this once. I was watching this. People were praying. There was a tornado raging, funnel clouds swirling in the sky. People were sitting there praying, and the funnel cloud was coming down, but then as soon as they start praying, it just goes back up and disappears. That's crazy. I was astounded by that. See, He can take. It's not just weather storms though that He can take care of. Nature storms, He can take care of your spiritual storms. And that brings me to my next scripture. Psalms 34:17. The righteous cry, and the Lord heareth, and delivered them out of all their troubles. Now, like I said before, not only can He calm these nature storms, these natural storms, He can calm your spiritual storms. Your spiritual storms are what you go through and you struggle with your faith. That is important because that right there can dampen your faith. Just remember, Jesus is always there for you, and He will take care of everything. Just ask believing and knowing that He's going to do these things. Believing, but trust in Jesus for everything, because Jesus will take care of your problems. I can promise you that. See, like it says in Psalms, I just read it, but I'm going to read it again. The righteous cry, and the Lord heareth, and deliver them out of all their troubles. All their trouble. He didn't say some. He said all of them. God is going to take care of your problems. He will calm those storms. Even when the storm's raging and going absolutely the worst it's ever been, He will bring that calm upon you. Just remember that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Or, if I say this, you can't make a rainbow without a little rain. You know, you gotta keep that in mind. We all are going to struggle with little storms. Some of them might be bigger than the others. But we have to keep that in mind, that Jesus will take care of them. No matter how big the storm, He was going to take care of you. And I'll leave you off with that. This is where I'm going to close. And all I have to say is, remember, Jesus will take care of your problems. He's going to take care of you, folks. He will. He'll take care of your problems. Just seek Him, and He'll take care. Because He loves you guys, and I know He'll take care of His beloved. And that's where I'll end off. I thank you guys for coming out and hearing me. And just keep Jesus in mind when you're in storms, even when the storms are raging the most.